Hello YouTube, back for another installment. Although I recently walked up the steps, so I am slightly winded. But again, this is my life story. Part 2! I know I posted part 3 first, but it just kind of happened that way. So, back to age 14. One of my wonderful, lovely sisters just had her first lovely set of children. That's right, there were 2. And I was kind of the primary babysitter at the time. Between my 3 sisters, they had 7 kids. I mentioned that in another previous video. About a year apart. So every year since then, a child was born. And so 14, 15, 16, 17, all the way, there was a lot of kids. And during the course of events from my last Super Blurt session, I was their primary babysitter slash daycare provider. Babysitter in your teenage, because when you're a kid, it's not technically a job, you know. They give you like $10, $2 an hour. They give you some, they throw some change at you whenever possible. I was like the neighborhood babysitter. I watched whoever wanted me to watch their chill children, you know, hype children, any children. That's kind of just what I did when I had time. Even if I didn't have time, I kind of did that. I tutored sometimes. After leaving school and slightly before my obtaining my GED, I took up the cereal baking. So I was going through 20 pounds of flour every few days, and no joke, walking it up to my previous bus stops that I attended to go to school and selling them. Muffins, cookies, maple twists, Rice Krispie treats, brownies, whatever I happened to make the previous night before, because I wasn't really sleeping. I don't think I slept much from the age of 12 on because of the course of events in my life. There wasn't really time for that. So sometimes I went days, weeks, etc. without actually going to sleep, which probably added to the extreme eccentricness of myself. Maybe an hour or 2 here or there. I think I'd drop every once in a while, but yeah, it was not a well-rested time period of mine. I loved watching children. I love kids. Kids are wonderful to hang out with. You should talk to them. The second they start talking, they say the most amazing things, and they love listening to stories. I probably told 101 different, completely made up, sometimes random, possibly historical stories to my wonderful nieces and nephews and other area children that became the recipients of my babysitting. You know, Magic Librarian, Sky People, Mystic Village. Like I was, El Chupacabra was one of my favorites. I mean, there is like the actual myth, which is the original, but I just kind of stole bits and pieces and made it my own and retold it however I wanted to, you know. It was a fun time for me. I like the dance battle. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. It's possibly still on Cleo's laptop, if she still has that laptop. I need to watch the name dropping. Hi. I started to take up DDR. I don't remember when I started it, but it was epic because I probably weighed a good 300 or more, 350. I don't know. At one point, I think I weighed like 450, 435 at least. I was pretty large, but that was early 20s. It was shortly after leaving high school, a few years after. My lovely, lovely time working at the pizza place, whose name shall remain nameless. And even though I remember absolutely everyone's name that I worked with, I don't want to cause any weirdness to have. So I learned a lot there, working there. They were nice people, hardworking people. I just wasn't used to any other type of extracurricular activities that other people participated in. And I think a lot was expected of my age demographic that wasn't quite me yet. Like I said, I still watched Sesame Street when I was 16. So at the age of 19, I probably still seem 15. I was for the size of a, full-grown human adult, though. Yeah, I just keep saying human. I didn't feel very human during this time in my life, which is probably why I keep saying human, normal humans. I didn't feel normal. This did not feel like normal activities at all. So I worked 2 p.m. to midnight, and then you clean up and then you go home. So I usually didn't get home until 1:30, give or take. And then 8 a.m., I think, 7 a.m., 7:30. The next morning, I would be over one of my sister's houses to watch my sister's children so they could go to work to raise their children because they were single mothers. Did you know daycare for young children under the age of 2, non-potty trained, is like $2,500 a month? It's like $500 per week if they're over the age of 2. Like, it is a lot of money. And working certain jobs that aren't paying you $5,000 a month, it is impossible to pay that much daycare. 2 kids, $2,000 a month per kid. That's $4,000 a month. That's not going to work. So that's why I did that. And so from 8 a.m. until sometimes 2, sometimes 5, I think my sister was postal service, so she had interesting hours. And another was a bank. I'm not saying which bank. Not, but I can't remember. Oh, military was, yeah. I don't remember all the jobs that were had by all, but there was between a lot of jobs between them. So anywhere from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and sometimes a little bit later. But then I went into work and then did it all again the next day. If I didn't sleep that night, because sometimes I just didn't. It didn't seem like it had a point in going to sleep. I would just, get home, do whatever, laundry / cleaning / trying to figure out what to do, because I really didn't know where my life was headed at this point, trying to plan, and then go back and do it all again. I did that for an extended period of time, which shall remain nameless, and I kind of insomnia cracked one day, and it just wasn't pretty. I did start trying to sleep more and trying to give myself more sleep. Sleeping pills, it was the yellow one with the little black lines. I don't remember what it's called. Requiem, Ambien, something. I don't know, but they helped a lot. Let's see. Should I do 16? 17? Nah. Let's skip up into my 30s. So, no, not my 30s yet. Late 20s. So, mid-20s. Somewhere in my 20s. After rejection from community college and the grant was taken back, I applied to 6 different colleges because I had a GED now and I can do that. And with the numbers on it, I was offered I think 3 full scholarships. Full scholarship rides? No. Something like that. 2 partial, 1 full. And the full one was where I wanted to go, which is the, was it Chicago Institute of Technology? Possibly New Jersey Institute of Technology. This has been over 2 decades, so I don't really remember anymore. But they offered me a full scholarship. And a week before I was supposed to, pack my bags and be at that location to start school, got a correspondence stating that, I am sorry, but GED recipients are not allowed into this program. You have to have a high school diploma to partake of blah, 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 blah. So it was taken back. And I was not allowed to attend this school. And being that I was just, working, I didn't have money to attend that kind of major university. So, yeah. Where'd my money go? I was blinging. No, I wasn't. I wasn't really using it to, go shopping, go to the movies, go to etc. I was using it to pay bills that weren't exactly mine, but they kind of were, gas and electric, electricity, rent, etc. I didn't really do too much as far as wardrobe, clothing, makeup, jewelry, hair, etc. I didn't get into that habit because I just had so many other things on my mind, and I think a lot of people, because of that, some guys, maybe some girls too, thought that I was other gendered or interested in similar gendered people. There was a lot of very interesting situations that popped up from that, and I think the fact that I wasn't really worried about anything in that I was very asexual until my mid-20s. So it wasn't even on my mind. But or actually technically it was 2 months before my 24th birthday that I left the asexual department and joined the world of other extracurricular activities. I only did it once. And then it was like a couple of years. I was in a different state before I started doing that again. So that was when I was in Virginia. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. Check it out. So ended up in Virginia and 2 jobs. I was a night stock clerk and a retail, not saying which because I don't think that store exists anymore. But I didn't really sleep a lot then either. Or started to not sleep a lot because it was midnight to 8 a.m. for one, and then 9 a.m. to whenever for the other, like 10 or 11. On the weekends, it was midnight to 1. Like, I didn't sleep. Maybe an hour or 2 a night. I was working pretty much 5 or 6 days a week. Like, I slept on the weekends. There was a very wonderfully nice bus driver who knew that I came running for his bus almost every night to get from one job because I had to run home, literally, change uniforms, and then jump on this bus to go to the night stock job. So it was interesting, and he usually waited at the bus stop for me because he expected I chased his bus down so many times. They were probably just like, wow, look at that big old run. But I was a sprinter. I was a few 100 pounds, 2, 3, I don't remember at this time. Well, I started. So Virginia, the beginning of Virginia, I was a good 435. Within a few months, possibly 6 or so, I was down to at least 280, 260, 240. I just kept dropping weight. Because I worked a lot and didn't sleep and probably wasn't eating as much as I should. I had like 2 packs of noodles, 2 eggs, and some steakums a day. I just threw everything into a pot, cooked it until it was not going to kill me, and then put it in my face as fast as possible. And then, like that was the plan most of the time. I dropped a good 100, possibly more pounds, and didn't realize it. I still thought I was amazingly large, but everyone's telling me, like, you should be not wearing that size. Why are you? Yeah, no. So I started to look at myself differently, act differently, and didn't really know how to process or deal with stress in a productive and conducive way. So probably got into a few habits that I really shouldn't have, which I kicked later, a couple of times, 2 or 3, maybe 4 times. But I'm still working on it, improving. That's my main goal. Yeah. So Virginia was interesting. I was between. Okay, let's end this one because I'm about to hit 15. So this is life story number 2. I will see you in part 4. If you have questions, leave them. I'll try to answer them when I can. Bye-bye.